No wealth, no ruin, no silver, no gold. Nothing satisfies me but your soul. Well, I am death, none can excel. I'll open the door to heaven or hell. Oh, death.
Welcome. This is Hunt Analyst, Georgia Ghost Hunters. We're doing the Paranormal Chronicles podcast, and we're sitting here with Matt Kemp.
Believe that.
Today we're going to be talking about his first time going ghost hunting and his experience, and what he was feeling in that time and how it went for him. So Matt, how was it, man?
It was very interesting, I'm not gonna lie. So my first time driving, we were driving to the cemetery, and I just got this uneasy feeling. I was like, are we really about to do this, Shane? Like, I was like sweating in the seat, and he's like, calm down, man, like it's gonna be okay. You're in a good area, like this is a safe area, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we're driving into the cemetery. We get out of the car, and I'm like shaking in my boots.
He was definitely a pussy, man.
And I was like getting ready to like get the equipment out, because I had to get out the car by myself, and I'm a little scaredy cat, and I was getting out of the car my first time, and I was like, ain't no way I'm doing this, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you didn't want to be alone.
I didn't. I had a very uneasy feeling. I felt like, not that I wasn't safe, because I knew like what I was doing, like it was okay, but I just felt like being alone in my mental headspace was going to be like very challenging.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I do.
So as I'm getting out and getting the equipment, I just feel like I feel lost. Like, we're at the, we're going into the witch cemetery, the one where the witch is buried. Yeah. And it's just dark. Like, I'm like talking dark, and we're like walking around, getting pictures, doing what we do. And I was like, Jane was like really encouraging me to go by myself, and I was like, I'm just not ready for it. So I did miss out on a little bit of an experience, which is okay.
He's fine with not traveling alone.
But I think what I learned and what I felt during the whole thing was like, I was just so uneasy. Like, yeah. I was worried about the rules, because in ghost hunting there are rules. Like what you can do, what you say.
Yeah, what you can and cannot do. There's a lot of rules to it.
And the worst thing for me was the part where I was feeling like I couldn't do certain things. Like, the way I was talking was monitored. I had to monitor how I talk. And it wasn't like that. Especially the fear part. Like, you can't be scared because they feed off that energy.
Yeah.
So I was trying to remind myself, like, you're okay. Like, it's just like that mental mindset. You know what I'm saying, Jane? So it was interesting, because I didn't want to be scared, because I knew that if I was scared that I had to come to them. So I had to be a stronger person, and it was very interesting.
Well, I remember you went ghost hunting a couple of times, and then you were like, okay, I got these friends that want to go on a haunt tour.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we don't have we're not going to say the names. We're going to keep that private. But so we took them on a haunt tour, and it was very interesting. It was definitely interesting. If you want to talk about that, Matt, you can take it away right there.
It was interesting. So at that time, I was feeling like I was a shit, because I already been through some experiences. I had gotten some, tiny bit of experience under my belt. But these people were very fresh off the boat, and their mental state wasn't there.
Yeah, we had one of them cried. One of the girls, they cried, and the other one just kind of flipped out, right?
Yeah, we could have swore she wasn't possessed, but she was just in a manic state.
She was acting out. She was acting abnormal.
Yeah, so we were, of course, thinking, like, it was just a little bit of an off situation. And I think what really threw it off the most was the way they were feeling. Because then it kind of had an effect on how we were feeling. And it wasn't even just that. Like, they really were genuinely scared. And when someone's scared, they just love, entities love feeding off of that.
And I remember once the first girl started crying, you were like, okay, you didn't really know what to do, because that's your first haunt tour, and you started freaking out a little bit. You're like, hey, maybe we should go, maybe move to the next place. Yeah. And so we had to immediately pack up and leave the cemetery. But I feel like we could have kept her calm, kept you calm, we definitely could have gotten more evidence and let them have more of a delightful experience. Yeah.
I think the only thing that held us back there was that she had wanted to leave so badly, and holding her back was more like not going against her will. It was more like the fact of like, I don't know how much more of a mental space she could have been in.
Now, Matt, you gotta admit, man, a part of you wanted to get the fuck out of that cemetery too.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I was being a little bitch about it.
You were so fucking scared when you seen something jump from tombstone to tombstone.
Yeah.
You like,
Talk
Jaden,
about that, Jaden.
Jaden,
What's
what
that
the
called?
fuck was that? Well, every cemetery has one. Every cemetery has this entity that if you look off in the distance, you see it jump from tombstone to tombstone. It's just how it works. In every cemetery, I've seen one. And I don't really tell new members about it. They just experience on their own, and they all experience it differently, and they all like act to it differently. Like you were like, hey, let's get the fuck out of here. I'm about to shit myself. And like you just freaked the fuck out, you know? And that kind of freaked her out too when she was like, oh my god, he's seen something, we need to get the fuck out of here. Then she started crying.
And that just goes to show how energy's transferred.
Yeah, and I remember you started crying, and you're like, I'm not really crying. You just chopped up some onions.
Nah, you tripping.
You cut up onions, that's why I'm crying. I'm like, dude, we don't have onions.
I did not cry, just to clarify.
You did not cry, but you were freaking out.
I was a bit
to go
manic.
home.
Yeah, I wasn't really going home. It was just like, when you have someone that you know, and they're flipping out, and they're like, it makes you think, like, is there a valid reason to flip out right now?
Is there a valid reason to flip out? Should I freak out even more? Should I think in my mind, hey, they're freaking out, I want to freak out, now let's make everybody freak out, and then we'll freak out together.
Yeah.
Because that's friendship, yeah.
Friendship, yeah. So, that really describes my first experience really well.
Yeah, that was definitely something. It was an adventure for sure.
Definitely, it always is, man.
Now, the second girl number 2, she, oh god damn, she flipped. She was acting abnormal. I remember we were leaving the cemetery after Matt freaked out. We were leaving the cemetery, and she hops out the car and runs back to the cemetery.
Yeah.
She just jumps out the car, a moving vehicle, and runs to the cemetery.
And I had to get out of the car
and chase her.
Yeah.
And I had to keep the other one in the car.
Because keep in mind, these girls are like really toxically best friends.
Toxically?
Like, they, you know what I'm saying? Like, they do anything for each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, to an unhealthy.
That's the best friend. That's not toxic.
Yeah, you're right. But I had to chase the one girl, and Jaden was like, Jane, tell me about how you felt, like, when you just finally let her go.
Well, like, I figured, you know what? Let's just take her back to the cemetery. Let's get her in the car. Let's take her back to the cemetery. Let's let her embrace that moment she has. And it turned out for the best. We calmed her down. I talked to her one-on-one. Told her some stuff. And then we got in the car and we went to the next place.
Yeah, and it actually turned out really well. I think she had a great experience. That combines mine, hers, and the other girl's experience along with Jade and supervising. I think it went really well.
I think it was pretty good.
Well, that concludes our very first beginning of our podcast.
Yep.
We appreciate you tuning in.
Paranormal Chronicles, man.
Paranormal
We finally
Chronicles.
did it.
We did it.